Okay. And
All right.
let me make you the host so you can share your screen. Okay, it's on you.
Excellent. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jim, who's joining us from somewhere in America. Thank you so much for everybody logging in for this quick call we will have before our district championships this weekend. We're all very excited that this is actually happening, despite this past year and a half and the fact that we had to miss it last year. So I'm glad we have a pretty nice turnout of teams, and hopefully we'll be able to answer some questions that you may have. I think I've been fielding some of these offline, and I'm happy to say that everything looks good. There were no issues with schedules or payments or any big issues. So I'll just run through a quick presentation that we have been giving to other championships. We've had some sectionals for 55 and over and mixed teams. So you guys can see, you will know what to expect, and then we'll open it up for questions. And for those of you who are volunteering at the event, who are logging in for that portion of it, what we will do is after this call is over with the captains, we'll just drop off the call and get back in again for the volunteer portion of this for a mini training, if that's okay with you. So I'll just go to my screen. So let's see. How about that? All right. So the 2021 Adult 18 over District Championships, we are the White District, and this year the White District is Northern Connecticut competing with Southern Connecticut in Northern Connecticut. So you guys already have your schedules, you know where everybody will be competing. This is a calendar we refer to, I refer to probably every day, every week, certainly. So what you're looking at is the section called Section 6, where you have the 4 different districts, and we're the White District over here, and August 6th through August 8th. NTRPs from 2.5 to 4.5 will be competing in Northern Connecticut, along with 7 Connecticut teams. The winners of this weekend will qualify to go on to sectionals, which is item 7, and it'll be the weekend of August 20th through August 22nd. So if as your team is looking good this weekend, and many of you have already done this, pull your teams and make sure that you're available for that weekend of the 20th should you move forward, because on your last match date, you will be asked to commit to attend that championship. So hopefully all of you are excited to have that opportunity. If you win sectionals, this is where you go. You go to nationals. And for those of you who've gone, it's a really fun thing to experience. And these are the different dates. Different NTRPs are in different locations and dates. But if you come to that point, this will be a good reference point as well. So specific to our weekend, so August 6th through 8th, these are the clubs where we will be playing. And again, you've gotten your schedules, you already know: East Hartford Racquet Club, Enfield Tennis Club, Farmington Valley, Rocky Hill, and Simsmore. Many of you have been asking, really the common questions I've been getting are, is masking required and are spectators allowed? So I will just tell you the answer we have as of now is no masking is required on court. So that you don't have to worry about. We will be getting more masking guidance over the next couple of days, but I will tell you right now, as of today, East Hartford and Enfield will require masking of everyone in all the areas outside of the court. So regardless of your vaccination status, if you're in the restrooms, in the common areas, in the waiting, watching the matches, you will be required to have a mask on unless you're on the courts playing. So that's where we are. And that has actually been the most recent guidance from the state of Connecticut, from the governor. So I wouldn't be shocked if the other clubs follow, but as of this moment, it's just East Hartford and Enfield, and I will let you know if anything changes about the others. The status, kind of like the baseline regulation right now, the mandate is if you're vaccinated, you can go maskless. If you're not, you must wear a mask. So that's sort of, self-enforced But again, if anything changes, and many clubs are going in that direction, as I said, I will let you know before the weekend. I think as of today, everybody went on and paid their fee, so hopefully that worked pretty well, and we don't have to worry about that. The regulations are on the championship website, on the New England Championship website. Just, if you get a chance, just go through it. You cannot have a known default. You can't go in knowing that you can't field all the positions. If something happens, somebody gets hurt mid-match, that's a different story, and there will be regulations that govern that. But, you have to go in there knowing you have to field all your positions. A little more on lineups on the next page, but again, this is for those of you who have been there, this is really like any USTA match where there are no officials, friended court rules, make good line calls, be a good sport. So, you're really, it's a typical match that you would play. The only difference is for Southern Connecticut folks, there is no time limit. So you play until the match is over. On the communication side, I think you've been getting emails from me. There's a lot of information on the championship website. If there's any email out there I didn't answer, please ping me again, but I think we're in pretty good shape. And again, the only really outstanding item is really the COVID protocols at this point, but you guys know where you need to be and when. And during the championship, again, we will have volunteers at every location, and I will be available, and everybody knows my cell phone number. So if something happens, you can text me, call me, and so on. And the regulations, again, on the website will address any questions you have, and I'm here for that as well. Some of the basic information on day one, your very first day when you're checking in. So if you're playing on Friday, or some of you are playing on Saturday is your first match, some of you just are playing on Sunday, you must arrive at least 45 minutes before. So check in, the tournament staff will check you in, you'll get your player gifts, and make sure everything's in order, and lineups must be done 30 minutes prior to match start time. So each team will do their individual, we'll match it up, we'll call you, and you may be called to play as early as 30 minutes prior to your scheduled match time. So if you're scheduled to play at noon, courts are available at 11:30, you should be ready to go out at 11:30. Please make sure your players have your IDs. More than anything, we want to make sure people are going to the right courts because nobody really knows anybody. So IDs must be provided and be ready half an hour before. The format is, round robin, and depending on how your flight and your NTRP worked out, sometimes it's just one round robin for your 4 men. Sometimes we have several flights, so they'll just have to go on to playoffs on a different day. And again, normal format, 2 out of 3 sets with a 10-point tiebreak if you split sets in lieu of a third set. Please stick to the 10-minute warm-up. Again, this is, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of work to kind of put this together in one weekend. We have, over 50 teams competing, at least 2 matches, or, in some cases, more. So, it really, it's tight. So we want to make sure everybody sticks to the time they're supposed to have. So let's just run this as well as we can. Make sure you sign your scorecard so that there are no complaints. And it's a really, fun environment for those of you who've been there. Just kind of a request really more than anything. Many of you have asked if spectators are allowed. They are, but let's just keep it, let's be understanding of the fact that it's it's still a strange environment. We have volunteers working there, we have staff working there. This is really not going to be the districts of years past when every team shows up with 10 people, their family members, a big tray of food, a cooler, and it's going to be a pretty packed viewing area. So please stick to your teammates only, and especially certainly in clubs where masking will be required, that will just really limit what you can do. But keep it small, keep it as small as you can, and understanding that if club staff decides that it's just getting too crowded, they may ask you to disband. But just let's be respectful of the people who are doing this for no compensation, spending their weekend helping us run this, so that we can have a really fun championship. And that's all we have. So maybe we'll open it up to questions. I don't know how to get out of
Yes,
there.
Susanna, I have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
So it's all hard court indoors, right? Without exception.
Correct.
Okay, and if you say we all have your cell phone number, which number do you want us to call? Just in case there was something, which hopefully is not happening, but
Yeah, it's the number on my signature page,
Okay.
8090512.
okay, I'm going to look it up. And so one other question, I know you refer to friends on court, but as you know, in particular, if it gets really to tiebreakers or to important points, there are sometimes bad calls, or people think there are bad calls. There might not even be bad calls. Is there anyone on site who could be called as a line judge or not?
So we will typically have about maybe 2 people running the tournament per site. Maybe we will have a third kind of floating around. So to the extent we can, we will come down. But as you can imagine, if you have a facility with 6 courts, somebody always has to run the desk. Somebody has to direct people where to go. So, we can't guarantee that we'll have somebody available to come and watch line calls for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can see that. But no, it wouldn't be possible that 2 people of the 2 opposing teams, 1 person each, would be line judge. That doesn't happen, right? That
Well,
you can
that's
only
really, you really need somebody impartial. I mean,
Yeah.
no,
I mean, you know what? I have to tell you, it
Yeah,
happens so often
anytime-
that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but anytime that you were to talk to anybody other than tournament staff from on court would be considered coaching and a code violation. So you can't, in that instance, if you have an
Yeah.
issue, one person from everybody else stays on court, one person goes to the tournament desk to talk to Susanna, whoever is your tournament site director.
Right.
But please do not ask any team members or don't even look up at the
Okay. Yeah. So we have to avoid.
it
Yeah.
gets
Avoid.
really dicey sometimes with
Yes.
in the
Yes.
championships.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Another question, do you let people on the court? I don't know when your first matches are scheduled. I assume you start at 8, but if someone has an early match, do you let people on the court earlier for warm-ups or no?
my understanding is no, that you go on when it's your time. So if it's
Scheduled time, right? And then 10
really
minutes
well.
warm-up, that's it. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to be clear on that matter, no one is allowed to rent courts ahead of time or after time to also warm up or practice. So even if you come in early, at 6:00 a.m., you're not allowed to rent courts outside of the USTA tournament.
Makes sense. Yeah.
What's the minimum amount of time allowed for rest between matches?
I believe it's half an hour.
Half an hour? And is that based on the last person on your team off the court?
No, if you have a person, if somebody did not play in a prior match, the person entitled to the rest is the person who is playing.
So each person, depending upon when they come off the court, gets half an hour based on whenever they were coming off the court. So
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so if your team is still playing, but you have a doubles one for your next match that hasn't played, it can go.
Right, got it. Okay.
Yeah, the only exception to that would be if that player happens to be playing at 2 different NTRP levels. It would,
Okay, I don't have that. I just,
Okay.
our schedule is basically potentially back-to-back matches, and I didn't know how long they got rest-wise.
I got you. Yeah, it was just really interesting in the mix. We had a lot of players that were playing on more than one. They were playing 7-0 and 8-0. And
Yeah.
so if it was a back-to-back 7-0 match, that was one thing. But if they were trying to share a player between 7-0 and 8-0, that's a different story. So
Got it.
yeah.
Yeah, and just typically, Beth, and I know these can be different, obviously, especially in districts, but a typical match will last about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, if you have a match at 1 o'clock, you would end at 2:30. Anything after 3 o'clock, scheduling a match after 3 o'clock is fair game. So that's kind of what the thinking is behind that.
Got it, because in our flight, it goes 12:36. So potentially you're at 12 and then you're again at 3. Got it. Thank you.
When you said nobody can rent a court to warm up, do you mean at the facility that you're playing at any of the facilities that are hosting the tournament, or at all? Like, can we rent a court someplace else to warm up earlier in the day if we choose to do so for our team?
Certainly, just out of the 5 locations that we're
Okay.
running the tournament.
Okay, thanks.
I had a question about the time of the matches, that it's not a timed match, it's not 2 hours.
That is correct. It is not a timed match.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you speak to the lineups? And I heard that in the past, some teams change their lineups. You know, for example, a player that typically would have played at the D1 or S1 level is playing at the D3 level. Are there some limitations around lineups?
So there's no monitoring of, if you played somebody in D3, D1 in your last match, that you can't play them below a certain level for the next one, if that's what you're asking. I mean, these are blind lineups. Each captain is doing their half of the lineup and they're submitting it half an hour before the match and cannot change, unless somebody gets injured and they need a substitute. So, you can do that, but you don't know if the other team is doing the same thing. So it's really, it's a game, I guess. There's nothing that is in place to limit where you can play which player.
Okay.
And just FYI, stacking at championships is very common, all the way to nationals. So don't be surprised.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
I had one last question. I'm one of those people who is playing in two lines, so a 3 and a 3-5. Can I have a substitute captain if I can't be in 2 locations at once?
Yes, but just make sure you give us that person's information so that if we need to get in contact with them, if it's half an hour before the match and the team is not there, we need to know who to contact.
Thank you very much. That
Yeah.
helps. That's perfect. I'll let you know.
I have one quick question. So I'm scheduled to play 8 a.m. at Enfield on Saturday. I'm one of the captains of our team, so I should try to get there by 7:15 based on the 45-minute time rule.
The 45-minute is before your first match. I'm trying to think. Do you have a match? Oh yeah, that's your first match, right, on Saturday, Matt?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so 45 minutes before, correct?
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm? All right. Doesn't look like there's anything else, right, Christy? Anything we missed? Is there a question? No. Chat.
I don't think so. Can you hit stop sharing right in the top middle of your screen? There's a little green
Yeah.
box. There we go. Yeah, I didn't see, no questions came in through the chat, but we're happy to answer anything else if anybody has any other questions.
I do have one other comment. For those of you who see Susanna this weekend, thank her very much. She has put hundreds and hundreds of hours into this with scheduling and contacting and doing all this. So if you see her, thank her.
Great.
Susanna, I had one quick question, and it's just a question based on prior experience. All of these facilities are unair conditioned, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct. I run Northern Connecticut, and that is correct. None of them are AC'd. There is one facility in Northern Connecticut that is, and we're not utilizing that one. So we're all sweating together.
Will water, any kind of water be provided, or should players be instructed to bring plenty of water? I always do anyway, but some facilities often have bottled water available.
I believe they will have vending machines, the ones that have that available in their facilities, but no, there'll be no, nothing provided by the facility, especially now with, I think, COVID guidelines. You bring with you what you need and you will take away with you what you use.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
when we used East Hartford a few weeks ago, they had wiped out their vending. They weren't allowing anybody to buy out of their water cooler or anything. So I don't know if that's changed with Bob out there. I would just definitely
Probably,
bring a lot.
yeah, probably not at East Hartford. Some of the other facilities were selling and had their water coolers uncovered in the last couple of months, but now that things have changed, I would make sure you bring your own water.
Yeah, I will say Simsmore had their water cooler operational 2 weeks ago, but as you say, things may have changed by now.
Jim, where are you coming to us from? You look like you're in a very comfy place.
Currently, I am in Arkansas.
Okay.
Currently, changing
Currently.
tomorrow. It's been an interesting summer. Trying to get internet to set things up with Susanna.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I won't be back this weekend. So.
Right. So if there are no other questions, maybe I guess we'll just wrap this up and we'll log back in for the volunteer portion of this, if that's all right with everyone. Okay. Well, thanks, everybody. We hope to see you around this weekend. Okay.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Bye.
Thanks for being on, everybody.
Thank you.